Going to be a path-breaking victory, the first woman president, Kamala Harris. My predictions have stood the test of time. The keys are the North Star, the unchanging system.
And you are sticking right now that the keys predict that Vice President Harris wins the election in 6 days.
That's right.
Look, my prediction for this presidential election was wrong.
Hello, everybody. How are you doing today? It is a great day here. It is a little bit gray outside, but hey, a little variety in the sky is good for everybody. Today we have the Young Turks, and they are going to take Mr. Allan Lichtman, he of the 13 keys to the presidency, to task for his monumental whiff of the 2024 presidential election. If you have listened to anything that I have ever posted, you will know that the Young Turks are probably my least favorite human beings collectively on the planet. As far as my top 1,000 favorites, though, they don't even show up. And it's honestly, whether Anna or shows that she has become somewhat conservative or not, I just leave that up to basically the cloistered leftist who suddenly is basically introduced to the actual world. And that's what's going on with her. Now, as far as like going right or something like that, that's way off. Forget it. That's not going to happen. The only thing she's doing is she is modifying her grift, okay? She just got pissed off, as I have said many times, that her part of the feminist grift was losing traction because of the transgender rights issue. And that's pretty much where she is. So, honestly, as I said before, you go ahead and you think she's going to the right, you go right for it. But as I've said this before, and I will say it again, all right, I will believe it when she starts co-hosting Dave Rubin's show, all right? And as far as Cenk Uygur is concerned, Cenk Uygur is among the lowest forms of life on this planet. If you go down to the bottom, the very, very bottom of the ocean, the Marianas Trench, the deepest part of the ocean, and you look at the absolute plains of absolutely nothing but fish and whale feces, and the very pathetic, small, frail, exigent life that... Exigent, did I just say that? I don't even think I used that correctly. Life that just exists down there, feeding off absolutely nothing but the detritus of human life that is or life that has just fallen down to the bottom. That is Cenk Uygur. Okay, that's basically it. It is amazing to me how much Cenk Uygur has started to look like the Chet monster at the end of Weird Science as he ages. But let's go on with this. Honestly, it is the left eating the left, and by God, I love every second of it.
Do you? No, that was Allan Lichtman, an incredibly smug professor who came on to our show and said that he could do no wrong with his keys. He's got the secret keys, the presidential keys, the keys that tell all, and he can totally predict who's gonna win as the next president of the United States. Of course, he thought that it was gonna be Kamala Harris, but I want to show you the moment when he realized it wasn't gonna be Kamala Harris.
I'm starting to get a little nervous.
Yeah.
She needs to make up 170,000 votes.
I don't see it. The big Democratic counties are mostly in.
No, yeah.
I just don't see it. Good thing I have nothing to do tomorrow.
Yeah, I took off work tomorrow.
And I'm not doing any interviews.
Good.
I'm done with that.
Are you? Now, he really did take a hit. I enjoyed tweets like these. I will admit, really having a tough time here. On Wednesday, he told USA Today, quote, "Right now, after a very long night, I am taking some time off to assess why I was wrong and what the future holds for America." Now, he's a professor of history at the American University, and he did correctly predict the outcome of 9 out of the last 11 elections, all with the help of his precious 13 keys. These are the 13 keys. So party mandate, contest, incumbency, third party, yada, yada, who cares?
Now, if you take a look at these, in reality, they're not that far off, okay? if you take a look at the descriptions, now what's going on is you have to have either a positive or a negative. You have to say either yes or no. If you have more than or 6 or more no's, then that means the challenger will become the president. And a lot of the problems that Mr. Lichtman had with this was that he basically fell for what the mass media was telling him. And that basically led him to mischaracterize a lot of these things. If you go through these and actually look this up, all right, and see what's going on and see how this describes itself, as you do this, you'll get at least 6, if not 7 or 8, and negatives, and that will show you that basically what happened was that he was mischaracterizing his own creation.
But he was pretty confident about the keys before losing. Kamala Harris lost this election. Just to remind you about how confident he was, just take a look at this moment from Cenk's debate with him.
And you're saying raw number, right? Raw number, whoever has more keys out of the 13 wins, right?
Keys, yes.
Yes, that's right.
6
Okay.
keys and you're out.
Okay, so if let's say that Biden has 7 or 8 or 9 of the keys on his side, right? Or any candidate, forget Biden. But every day he comes out and does a press conference and punches himself in the face. And people are like, whoa, what the hell's going on? The president's lost his mind. Do the keys still say that he's going to win?
Well, this is something I've never heard before, the punch in the face theory.
Yeah.
You
I'm
don't
giving
have a
you an
system.
extreme example. Or the candidate comes out and every day punches a new baby in the face. Are you still going, nope, I'm sticking with the key?
Taking an extreme example of something to try to disprove it is how idiots pretend that they're intelligent. Just to throw that in there.
9 out of 13 keys, the keys will determine.
Of course, I'm sticking with the keys because they've been right for 40 years. You can't predict elections from this kind of off the top of your head speculation, which is why you've been wrong so many times. It doesn't work.
We should have him on again. I appreciate someone who can come on our air and outdo your bravado. Okay.
By the way, as it happens every single time, as we do that, his side comes in, the blue MAGA guys who at the time thought Biden was going to win. And they're like, oh, Cenk, he schooled you. You could punch a baby in the face and still win as long as you have more keys than the other candidate. He got you. He got you. He's definitely right and you're definitely wrong. That was so embarrassing, Cenk. You don't even believe in the keys. Oh.
If you actually take a look at the keys and see how they describe themselves, okay, and how they describe the situations of what the key is supposed to pertain to, you can actually throw in punch a baby in the face every day and make a couple of negatives out of that within the 13 keys. Just to throw that in there.
All of a sudden, Allan Lichtman is like, wait, where did I put my keys?
Yeah.
Looks like he lost his keys somewhere, isn't it?
So look, it's been a week. He says that he's been doing some soul searching, and surprisingly, he admitted defeat. Okay, he even well, let's take a look at the next clip. I want to hear like where his head is at right now.
Were the keys wrong, or was your interpretation off this time?
I think the fundamental problem was the keys, not my interpretation. No one's convinced me that was wrong. I admitted I was wrong. I admitted the keys don't work. Remember, the premise of the keys is that a rational, pragmatic electorate decides whether the White House party is governed well enough to get 4 more years. But if the views of the White House party are controlled by disinformation, particularly driven by those who are so rich that they have extraordinary influence beyond anyone else, then maybe the premise of the keys needs to be changed. I have 4 years to figure this out.
If you take a look at how much Soros's One World, I believe that's the name of it, Foundation, has given to the Democrat Party, it far eclipses anything that Elon Musk ever did. So if you believe anything that Lichtman is saying right now as far as disinformation coming from X and Elon Musk, then you're missing the point, babe.
It was the electorate's fault.
Yeah.
It was the electorate's fault. I mean, you would need a rational electorate for the keys to work.
Yeah, last quick things here. So, look, part of my issue wasn't just that Of course, just these factors are not going to determine an election. You have to be reasonable, and he refused to be reasonable, right? But the second part of it was that these keys focus so much on the power of incumbency, but that is left over from an ancient politics where the incumbent had the giant media advantage, and all the media would say how great the incumbent was, and there was no independent media that would go, well, how about this and how about that, etc. So a lot of these, and this is the same issue I used to have with Nate Silver back when everybody was telling me, oh no, Trump can't win in 2016, and Nate Silver's got this. To be fair, Nate got way better about that election at the end, but he was also obsessed with the advantage of incumbency. That is not an advantage at the presidential level anymore, and they can't get that through their thick heads. In this case, the past is not an indication of what is going to happen today, but they'll be wrong again and again and again, and so we'll have to fight them every.
Just to throw this in here, yeah, this is how socialism works, okay? This is how the left actually works. The incumbency holds a lot of power still. There's a lot of influence in there. They control a lot of how elections work. So believe me, yeah, no, there's still a lot of influence with incumbency. Don't take this. This is a shadow, basically. This is throwing up a shade to basically open you up to more influence of, idiots like this.
Every single time. And the last thing I'll say is, guys, the number one reason he got so popular, rando professor with this outrageous claims, etc., is because he was selling copium.
Yes.
And people really wanted a hit of that copium.
They sure did.
They're like, oh yeah, tell me Biden's young. Tell me Biden's gonna win. Give it to me, my veins right here.
Now those same people.
He wasn't selling copium in 2004, Cenk. Okay? He was not selling copium in 2004, believe me.
People are sending him death threats, which you should not be doing. Like, don't send him death threats. Come on.
Are you guys nuts? Have a little bit of fun with him, but death threats? Have you lost your mind?
This is fun.
Death threats are crazy. Absolutely. Disagree with somebody, but honestly, don't send death threats to anybody. I don't even like the Young Turks. I like no one on the Young Turks. Please don't send them death threats. Okay? It just doesn't. It does not help whatsoever. It doesn't help. Okay. If you believe in that, please light me up with comments. If you don't believe it, light me up with comments then.
Yeah. No, don't do that. Leave the poor guy alone. He's a civilian. Just shake a little jangle jingle on the keys, and that's it. We're done with him. Okay.
So there you have it, folks. The left eating itself, the Young Turks going after Mr. Allan Lichtman for his 13 keys to the presidency. But as I said, I enjoy the living heck out of this to watch these guys just take each other on and feed on each other, because it's basically what they do. They are the French resistance without the British. Look that up one. It's great. Anyway, so thank you all very much for joining me today. Like, share, please hit that subscribe button. It does help me get the word out, and it will help me with the algorithm. So thank you all very much. Later.